And welcome to the Lakers Pulse podcast. I am your host, Kyle Hartwick. What? I know, I'm hosting, and it's crazy. I've never hosted on this site before, so this is new to me. I hope you guys like it. If you don't, please let me know so I don't ever have to do this again. I'm joined here today by your usual host, Clayton. Clayton, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm getting there. I'm still on my first beer, but we'll see. We'll see what happens as the night goes on. We are here with is not yet able to drink beer with us,
Yes,
which is
that's true.
sad. Christian, how you doing, man?
Lakers are good, so I'm a lot better than I would be last year.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah,
So this is our first podcast since the preseason, I think. So it's
yeah.
good to say the Lakers are 6-4. Luke Walton has brought Lou Williams and Nick Young back from the dead. Um, we're seeing the ball move a hell of a lot, but that's not. We're going to talk about that. It's going here. First, we're going to talk about the win that happened tonight. We won big. It was a 27-point win for the Lakers on the road on the first night of a back-to-back. It'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. Clayton, you were able to watch the game. What did you think of the, particularly the first half? We were down by one. Kind of looked like a slow start with the starters out there.
Yeah, we just like a common theme so far in this game, starting off slow, and then the bench came in and picked it up. Like you said, we were down one at the half, and we were close with New Orleans until Anthony Davis got his eventual injury, and then from there we separated ourselves. Just so far, it just played out like I said earlier. Just slow starts with the starting unit, and the bench has had to pick it up for us. So
Yeah, and I think that the starting unit might not stay the same for. And I don't know how Luke is going to play around with that lineup. I don't know if he's going to want to right away because you don't want to change up too much when it's working well for you. But we'll see what he does. Christian, you were also able to watch the game. Unfortunately, I was at work, so I missed. What were your thoughts from the first half and then the Lakers comeback in the second half?
I think for me, it was pretty much what it's been the whole season is that Julius Randle is really good, and he needs to have the ball in his hands a lot more, especially with the starting group, because I think D'Angelo needs the ball, I guess, out of his hands a little bit more, and for him to work like off screen stuff like that. But takeaway, which is probably been for the whole season, is that Deng should not be playing a lot. Luol Deng should not be in as much as he has been.
I think you just
And,
pissed off Kyle.
Yep. So that's the Lakers Pulse podcast for tonight. No, I'm kidding.
I know. I know Kyle likes Luol Deng a lot. It's nothing to do with him. It's just I don't think he fits really that well with being a three, and he's better as a small ball four. And we can't play him as a small ball four because we have Julius, Larry, and Ingram at sometimes, and it's tough for him. But he has been making open shots too, which has been kind of frustrating.
I almost threw my hat at the screen a couple times on a couple missed open threes that he had. I was just like, seriously?
One
he had an open.
Yeah, the one where it took like 5 seconds. No one was around him for like 5 seconds, and he took his time. And he tried his best to hit it and just claimed.
Yeah, I can't remember who exactly brought it up. I think it was Brian H. with the of Run the Jewels. He said that if Luol has 2 to 6 seconds to shoot, he's shooting at like 27.1% on the season. Now, obviously, that's very, very early, but
Yeah.
if you have 2 to 6 seconds, that means that you are wide open. I guess, I mean, it could be that he's covered as well, but that's just he's not an ISO player, that's for sure.
No.
So
Right.
if he has the ball for 6 seconds at a time, then I think there's an issue there.
I
And
completely agree with you guys. I mean, Luol Deng, when I was growing up, he was my favorite NBA player because I used to be a Bulls fan. So he was the guy I gravitated towards, and like he was basically my Kobe when you guys talk about a player you look up to and watch a
yeah,
hell of a lot of. He was my guy, and it's very sad to see him in the shape that he is, because he was 0 for 6 tonight in field goals. He had 0 points. He didn't have the lowest plus minus, if you care about that stat at all, of everyone, but he certainly wasn't doing too well out there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him moving forward, especially the fact that he's on a 4-year massive deal.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people already hate that deal. So it just sucks because I love him so much, but seeing him the way he's playing is not the greatest. Moving on from Dane, though, I do want to talk about what happened during the game. Mostly players of either team going down, with Anthony Davis going down, and then Ingram going down. I joke about Ingram being the best player before people get all up in my mentions, but what do you guys think about those two injuries? And we'll start with Christian. Obviously, one was way more effective for the one team than the other, but
Yeah.
Was that sort of the turning point in this game?
The Anthony Davis, yeah, it was. I think once Lakers went on like a 18-4 run, something like that, and just like you could tell that the Pelicans are not good at all without Anthony Davis, and they were running their offense to Buddy Hield, which is not ideal for them, and that was the turning point for that whole game. I'm not saying that the Lakers would have lost if Anthony Davis did play, but definitely would have been a lot more competitive.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Brandon Ingram, it sucked because it seemed like he was having probably his best game of the season. He was driving the basket. He was being aggressive. He had that crazy post fadeaway with Buddy and Anthony Davis on him. Like Kobe.
There?
And a lot more like poise and a lot more.
I think we're.
Oh, did we lose him?
Christian, I think we're losing you a little bit.
What?
Your Wi-Fi might be cutting out a little bit. We're losing you mid-sentence.
How much did you get at?
We got. We heard you say something about it was kind of Kobe-esque.
Oh, the Ingram post fadeaway. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Obviously, the Pelicans losing Anthony Davis was a lot bigger than the Lakers losing Brandon Ingram. It did suck because it looked like Brandon Ingram was kind of having a career night. 10 games into his career, it's hard not to have a career night this early.
Yeah.
Clayton, what did you think of each team's respective injuries? And should we really be worried about Anthony Davis's situation in New Orleans moving forward in his career? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but it's been the talk on Twitter as of late.
About how Anthony Davis is possibly injury prone and stuff like that. Well, first off, tonight's injury, that looked mainly I didn't see him get hit or anything. That looked like just a non-contact back spasm type thing. And
yeah,
it looked like to me when I was watching it, it was like he blew out his back. It looked really weird. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, he did that duck and under to go up, and it just looked like he got punched in the back or something. And right after he laid it in, he just instantly collapsed down to the ground. I'm not a doctor, obviously, so I can't, obviously diagnose it. But he came back and he didn't look good. That was clearly the turning point. They were they were within 10, I believe, when that happened. I want to say it was more like 4 or 6 that they were down. And then after that, we went on our run. His injuries as a whole are a concern. I think not necessarily that like he's just going to turn into Greg Oden or something like that, but
Yeah,
he's out 2 to 3 games here, 2 to 3 games there. Then he's out like 2 weeks and out another 3 weeks. It's just an issue. I think part of it is, and I mean, like I said, I don't know. It's he has to shoulder so much, for that team to succeed. That's
yeah,
why, like when they signed a couple guys this offseason, and I didn't think they were going to be huge for them, but like Etwan Moore and Solomon Hill, they got big deals to help a lot, and they haven't done that. Um, Now, Drew Holiday obviously was out tonight, along with Tyreek Hill or Tyreek Evans. Both of them were out. Um, but, well, I don't think Holiday's out for injury. He's just out, I believe, for his wife. So
yeah. She should be back next week. I heard.
yeah, he should be back soon. I'm wondering if when they come back, he won't have to expend because he's expending so much on both sides of the court. He's leading the league in blocks with over 3 a game, and I think he's touching 30 points a game and over 10 rebounds. So he's having to do so much. They need help for him badly, or you could see him end up demanding a trade. Um, just because who wants to be in that type of situation? For Ingram's injury, obviously that wasn't as big a deal. I've rolled my ankle like that. I don't know how many times that I've been back the next day. Um, it worries me if it's a high ankle sprain. Those you can be out several weeks, especially like with basketball, or if anyone plays, fantasy football. If a wide receiver or running back, it's a high ankle sprain, you're out weeks. So if it's just a quick tweak or ankle roll, um, he probably misses Minnesota tomorrow. We'll just have to see day by day how Luke and the training staff want to handle it.
Right. And honestly, I'm very, very not concerned about the Ingram injury at all.
Mhm.
Way more concerned with Anthony Davis's situation in New Orleans. I think he needs to be saved. Like, we need to start a hashtag free Anthony Davis. He needs to get the
Yeah,
he needs to get on a team that can succeed. Maybe we'll see. I was going to say maybe we'll see him in a Warriors jersey next year.
Oh God.
No, I'm kidding. That would be insane. But he needs to find a team that works for him, because the team they have built right now isn't working, and they're kind of stuck in it for a while. And I
Yeah.
just don't see any good things on the horizon for the Pelicans.
the good thing for the Pelicans is with Evans and Drew Holiday, they're both free agents at the end of the year,
Yeah.
and with the cap going up again, they should have, off the top of my head, they should have like room for like one max for sure, and
Yeah.
then I think they might be close to 2. So if they can somehow make someone foolishly take Omar Ashik, then they can have that full 2. But off the top of my head, I'd have to look real quick. Um, that's really their only saving grace. Maybe they have their pick. Do you guys know? I don't remember them
Yes.
trading away that pick.
I
Yeah,
believe
they
they
have their
do.
pick.
If they're 1-9 now, so you can only project that they're gonna be really bad for the rest of the way. Um,
Markel Fultz, man.
that would be the dream scenario for them. That would be the quick way to improve them. well, quickish way. I mean, Anthony
Yeah.
Davis is what, 22, 23?
Yep. He's
So
still really
Yeah,
young.
he's still super young. That's what's very promising about him is that even though he has that injury history, he is just insanely young. And I continually forget that he's only a little bit older than me, if at all.
yeah,
It's very promising, even though like I'm at the same time scared for him. But before we turn into let's switch back to the Lakers here.
yeah.
We're gonna. I think we're gonna stop talking about the game tonight because it was just a beatdown. We talked a little bit about it already. I do want to move into the more broad topics that we have here. Um, one thing I do want to talk about is he's been absolutely insane, and as I think Daniel wrote earlier this year, CBS Sports projected the Lakers bench to be 29th in the league. Well, they're number one right now.
Yeah.
Who's eating their words there? It's CBS Sports. Clayton, what are your thoughts about this, hot bench start, particularly Lou Williams and Nick Young? I know you are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Lou Williams haters out there. Not necessarily haters. You just like call it, but
Yeah.
we all wrote out Nick Young to start this season. Like, we didn't think he was going to make the team. We thought he'd be cut. They would just eat that contract. And now he's starting and is a huge contributor to the offense. What the hell is going on, Clayton?
Yeah. Well, Luke just has Nick buying into the system. As simple as that. He's actually playing defense. How well is debatable. Sometimes he's really good. Other times he's not. I mean, it's Nick Young. But
Yeah.
on the whole, I think he's playing pretty solid defense at least. He's not taking over possessions at a high clip. The one that really gets me is, of course, the one that I'm always accused of being the biggest Lou Williams hater. I have to give it up to Jacob Rude over at Lakers Outsiders. That after the preseason, I was like, it's exactly how I predicted. But apparently, once the regular season started, he was just like, oh, okay, I'll be a playmaker for others. I'll be like a nominal point guard, and tossed alley oops to Tarek Black and Larry Nance. Like he's still doing his stuff, but it's within the offense. Now his defense, he'll get a steal here, and he gambles a lot. It's still bad, but those gambles, because of everyone else, is much improved. Um, the rest of the bench unit, I still think JC should be starting, but right now he's just him and Lou are killing it off the bench. Ingram, another guy who could possibly be starting, but he's looked really comfortable playing. I mean, Luke pretty much has him playing the one. It's either Ingram or Lou Williams bringing the ball up. Nance is typical Nance. Looks really good. And then Tarek is, doing he's doing the things that you'd want him to do, setting screens and getting rebounds and getting putback jams. But don't tell Basketball Breakdown that.
He's playing like an NBA player, which, I guess
He
would
wasn't.
surprise some people, but it doesn't surprise us here at Lakers Place because we've seen him
Yeah.
on a semi-regular basis that Tarek Black can play the game of basketball.
Yeah.
He's no idiot.
Yeah.
Christian, what are your thoughts on the bench unit as a whole? And do you think that this is sustainable? That's another thing. Is 10 games is a good sample size, but there are still 72 games left in the year. Is this something that we can expect the Lakers to be top 10, top 5 in bench points at the end of the year? A passing flame.
About the bench, I think Lou has surprised me a lot. Offensively, obviously, but his passing is a lot better than I remember it being. I think it's just him when he's not selfish. He's actually a really, really good passer. And on the pick and roll, it's almost unstoppable with him and Larry Nance. He's able to get to the rim. He's able to do his magic foul drawing thing that I don't know how he does it sometimes. So, and he's been an awesome person to close the game out for us. He's had multiple games where he's had 10 plus points in the fourth quarter.
He's third in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring.
Wow.
LeBron and Westbrook, I think.
It's
what it
no,
is, too.
no. It's Westbrook is one. I think Lillard is two. So you could flip those, I think. But yeah, Lou is third in the NBA, and I think he's our leading scorer on the year.
Yeah, I think he is. So he's been great. If it's sustainable for him, I think the scoring is. I don't know if he's going to go back to old ISO Lou and just like chuck shots up and try to draw his fouls. Sometimes trying to draw the fouls is necessary if the offense is really stagnant. But I think offensively he could sustain, maybe not third in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring, but to be a guy to look like to be in the end of the games, to be that guy to score the ball for you while like people like D'Angelo and Ingram develop. I think Larry Nance might be one of our most important players on the team, top 2 most important player on the team to me. You could see in the Dallas game, they were really missing Larry. Doing his normal Larry stuff, dunking the ball, getting block shots, stealing the ball.
That can not to discredit Nance at all, but that could have also been because instead of trying to tighten up the rotations, Luke tried to extend the rotations, which I thought was a mistake. I mean, he's got a hard job, and of course, and I'm never been a coach, but I think Jose Calderon played that game, and someone else, Thomas Robinson, didn't play in there either.
And Meta played that game.
Yeah, Artest played. So you're playing like 11 or 12 guys, and 3 of those guys haven't been playing a lot or at all. So that could partly explain it. Not to say, like I said, that to discredit Nance, but if we would have tightened up rotations in that game, I think the outcome would have been different.
Yeah, I do think Julius should have played a little bit more in that game just because we don't really have anyone else, and I think Julius can at least somewhat replace Nance in that role. Not very much, but I mean, as much as anyone else probably could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like going back to Clayton's point about tightening the rotations, like that's not to take away from Luke Walton at all. Like that's
no.
It's mostly a nitpicking thing with Luke Walton at this point. Like we all have our little things that we'd like to see him do differently. But when it comes down to it, is the Lakers are 6-4. Wins compared to their 6 wins in 10 games compared to their 17 wins in 82 games last year, with virtually the same roster. There are some, like you can argue that our bench is a lot better, and that we have Dane and Mozgov now, which Dane is a non-factor. Mozgov's been the surprising factor this year. You can say that Luke is a much better coach than Byron Scott, or as I like to call him, the vacancy. And that should come as no surprise to people, but it's been a surprise that the Lakers are 6-4. I think most of us had them going like 2-8, 3-7 through this stretch. Just looking at the schedule and assuming wins and losses and stuff like that. Wrong. Like the Lakers are 6-4, and whether or not that's a sustainable thing, whether or not they go through some rough patches in the season.
Yeah.
Last year by far.
To expound on how we keep saying we're 6-4, we did not get our 6th win until December 30th last year.
Wow.
We started.
Byron sucked.
We were 6-27. So
wow,
that shows just how insane this turnaround is.
Man,
so yeah,
that's insane.
So
and not only are we
to kind of
6-4,
transition things, because I know we wanted to talk about something else that I don't know what the word is, kind of divided us this afternoon in our Slack chat. Uh, so the Lakers are on pace to win 49 games, which if you look at the playoff picture from last year, would put them in the 5th seed, like 7 wins. It's Christian here. Christian, playoffs or not?
Okay, I'm gonna start with this. I fully believe that they can make it to the playoffs, and I think they have. If they keep playing like this, then I think they make it to the playoffs. But it's only 10 games in. We don't know if some of these guys can sustain how good they're playing. So right now, I'm gonna say they'll be in the playoff hunt. They'll be in the 10 to 8 range for the whole year. But right now, I'm gonna say they barely miss it. That's my opinion on it.
Okay, that's fair. Clayton, what are your thoughts?
I still say no. My prediction for the year was between 27 and 32, and I think what the hot start has done is it's just increased that, but not to playoff yet. I would say between like our bottom now would be like 32, and like we could get to 37 wins. We've been obviously on a crazy hot streak right now, and after tomorrow's game versus the Timberwolves and Tuesday's game against the Nets, we followed that up with the Spurs, the Bulls, the Thunder, 2 games against the Warriors, the Hawks, the Pelicans again, the Bulls, Raptors, Grizzlies, Jazz, Rockets. So, like, in our next 15-ish games, 14 games, we're playing, all of those teams are playoff teams except, or possibly projected playoff teams, except the Pelicans again. So, I don't think so. and if we were to win 33 to 37 games this year, I don't see how that could be viewed as a disappointment. Our over under, which was clearly wrong, was 24 and a half wins. Someone on CBS had us at 17 wins again. So we're already over a third of the way there on that. I just think we are a year away from the playoffs. I think some of the play that we have is a little unsustainable. I know that D'Angelo hasn't had that statement game yet that we've all been just projecting for him to have, but I don't see playoffs this year. I don't even see 500. But if they do, like I said in the Slack chat and on Twitter and the DMs, I will eat crow for that. Like, well, not little crow, but I will admit that I was wrong. So,
yeah.
Let me ask.
Though.
Wait, one of you guys.
Go ahead, Christian.
Hold on. Okay, sorry. Is there any way? Okay, say in the next 14 games when we listed up all those teams, record that you would say, okay, I believe that we can make it to the playoffs now.
No, because I think we'll be in that 9 to 12 range, maybe 9 to 11. In those 14 games, if we were to somehow come out over 500 on that, then maybe, I guess. But I don't know. I think young teams don't win, plain and simple. So until I'm proven wrong, I just go with history of really young teams.
So despite what I may have said earlier in the Slack chat, what I may have been indicating, think that the Lakers will make the playoffs this year. But what I was saying, presuming that we would win tonight, is that the Lakers are 6-4. There are 72 games left in the year. Get to what my former like high mark for them was, they would only have to win a third of the rest of their games. Because I thought there was no way they could win more than 30 games. Now I'm completely reevaluating all of that. And, 32 to 37, I think I'm in roughly the same range as Clayton. I don't remember exactly what he said. I'm sorry.
That's about it.
But I don't think it's fair to discredit the possibility at this point. They are 6-4. They are, if the playoffs started today, which is a stupid thing to say, but if the playoffs started today, they'd be playing in the playoffs.
If we had won that, I saw someone say, if we had won that Mavs game and we were 7-3, we would be the 3 seed right now, which is just
it's absurd.
It's just hilarious. I mean, how many people had us as like starting out as 0-10 or 1-9? Like, I know when I first saw the schedule, that's what I thought.
Right, and to consider everything that's happened in the past 10 games. Our only bad loss was that Mavericks game. I think the other losses were good losses. If there is such a thing as a good loss, which I do believe there is, they were those. Like, we lost to the Thunder, who are a playoff team. We lost to the Jazz, who are probably a playoff team.
That should have been a win. I still say that should have been a win.
Who else did we lose to? The Pacers?
Yeah, Pacers.
We were within a few points late, and Paul George went Super Saiyan on us.
Right.
And,
yeah. So, like, it's very plausible. And I think good losses are a sign of a fringe playoff team. We have those things that are considered good losses. They're better than bad losses. They're better than what we handed the Pelicans tonight, which was a bad loss for them. 27-point loss. That's a bad loss. We handed the Warriors a bad loss.
Yeah.
You have to consider that the super team Warriors have only lost to the Spurs, who are insanely good, and the Lakers, who are what? So I think that's where we'll end the playoffs conversation, because we could talk about that a lot. But we'll kind of move on to two smaller points that we had listed here. I think we'll call it a night. I don't want to be on all night with you guys. I don't know what you guys have planned. I'm kidding. But how do you guys feel about the Mozgov and Bain contracts compared to immediately after they signed? And we'll start with Clayton.
Awesome. I still say how early Mozgov was signed that it was still too much. But he has by far been the better player. He has shown that his decline of last season is almost just an aberration, or it was just because he was just injured and he rushed back. He looks so much better. He looks nearly like what he was in the first year he was with the Cavs. I'm still not happy about the money, and really what gets me is still just the years more than anything. I guess the money isn't as big as the years. But I'm more acceptable of that one. Now, the Dang signing, I've been saying almost the instant we signed him that he should be moved into an Iguodala role. He was signed to be that veteran mentor 3 for our guys, and I was told by at Dimpat7 that it would crush his trade value. I don't think he's getting moved this year, anyways. But I think everyone knows that his future is the bench. So that contract just looks so bad. I can tell you right now that if the next CBA has an amnesty, that would be the contract right now.
It's very hard to look at Dane's contract now, or probably that. Oh yeah, this is our starting three for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And to justify that money, I think he has to be that.
Yeah.
To be that, he's
No.
he played under Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, he got ruined by Thibodeau. Yeah, I
That's,
mean,
that's about all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Like Tom Thibodeau runs his players into the ground.
Yeah, he's a small ball four in the Eastern Conference. You know, maybe for certain Western Conference teams he could be a four as well, but he's now a combo forward. He after the All-Star break, if he's still starting, it's because either something happened to Ingram or Dang just magically turned back into Dang. I know it's still really early, but it does not look good. It does not look good at all. And I feel bad for him though, because he's a humanitarian. You know, he went for all that money because he does a lot of work in his home country. I want to say it's Sudan, but I'm probably wrong on that.
No, I think
It's wherever Thought Maker's from.
It's wherever from where?
It's wherever Thought Maker's from. That's pretty much
Oh, okay.
pretty sure it's Sudan.
Yeah, he does a ton of work there. So I don't blame him taking the money. I never blame the player for taking the money, but I want
Go ahead.
definitely what? Oh,
You can definitely blame the Lakers for offering him the money, but I don't blame Dane at all for taking the money. He's due that money.
Yeah.
You will never hear me complain about a player taking money from a franchise ever.
I'm always for the player on that one. I'm just kind of setting up that you know how sports fans are. The instant they start hitting a contract, it's he shouldn't have signed for that. No, the franchise shouldn't have signed him for that much.
Yeah.
And apparently he wasn't their first option. They went after Kent Bazemore, and he turned him down because of his experience with LA before, unfortunately.
Right.
So I understand that from him, and I understand they wanted an adult in the room, but I just wonder if they could have gotten him cheaper, or something that everyone seemed to be pretty happy with it because Luol Deng, it's a big name, former 2-time All-Star. He even though one of those probably wasn't deserved, but
whoa.
All right, fine.
You are muted. You are kicked off the pot. No, I'm kidding.
But that'll be the one that I'm concerned over now. Mozgov looks really good. He'll be perfect in teaching Zubats. I've just questioned Dang's contract more than anything.
Christian, what about you? How you feel about those guys?
Pretty much the same. I've been really impressed with Mozgov because I was one of those people who are, really mad about the Mozgov signing. But as he's played this year so far, he's just been what Roy Hibbert was supposed to be for us last year, and 10 times better than that, in my opinion. He was able to mess with Boogie Cousins the last game against Sacramento. He's able to guard those guys, and he's been a great pick and roll guy with D'Angelo, and his passing is actually better than I expected it would be. So I'm not, again, with the years, it probably isn't the best. The money's fine, but for what he's doing right now, I think it's almost like you're almost able to say that it was a good contract for him. With Dang, it's just it's not looking good right now. It's been just it's been really bad. The years and the money doesn't look great. He could bounce back, and he might still be recovering because he didn't play a few games in the preseason. Maybe he's still working off some rust. So I'm still kind of a little bit patient with him, but not for that much longer.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not crying. You didn't hurt my feelings by calling my favorite player, not a deserving 2-time All-Star.
I'm sorry.
No, that cut deep.
Real quick note. Lakers Pulse writer Daniel Bishop decided to apparently not listen because he's a jerk. But no, I'm just playing. He's busy at work. But as we're talking about that, he brings up some interesting stats of Mozgov. He says, amazing that out of the centers that signed in that $64+ million range, Mozgov is the only one that is starting and the only one that has a positive defensive and offensive win shares. And it's a small sample size, but his PER is 15.4, which I think 15.4 is pretty good. I heard someone say that 17 was average, but there's no way that's average. I've looked at numbers. There's no way about that one. Jan Mahimi and Bismack Biyombo were the other ones. Mahimi is Festus was 2 years and $16 million. He wasn't $60 million.
Really?
Yeah, he was 2 years and $16 million.
That's how bad that is.
Cheap?
Because he's still out with a knee injury. Typical Izali thing. Mahimi's out with a torn meniscus still, and Bismack signed in a terrible situation in Orlando. I don't know how many bigs they have on that roster, but it's too many. Yeah, Bogut too, but he was traded. So
let's turn into NBA Pulse for a second here again, because this question just came to my mind, and I think we're out of questions. So we'll close out with this, and then the sunset together. What team worst situation right now for the future? And I have several that come to mind.
What'd you say?
I'm really having trouble deciding which NBA team is in the worst position for the future right now.
I have one. I think I got it.
All
right, go.
For me, it's the Kings, just because I think Boogie's gone. There's no way he'd be signed with them. They need to trade him immediately, in my opinion.
Which makes me sad for Sacramento fans. It really does. Even though we're a rival, that's the one guy that they've developed in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I saw something that said players they passed up on, and it was Damian. If you go by past 5 years and players they didn't draft who went after they drafted whoever they drafted, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, I think Giannis was one of them. I think Rudy Gobert, something like that. It was.
Yeah.
But I think Cousins should be traded immediately if they want to get anything back from him. Gay's gone soon. I think Aflalo's gone after this year. Carlson's gone after this year too. Then I think I saw something that said they traded their pick away for next year's draft, their first round pick.
I believe they've had a pick protection to the Bulls for the last 7 years. Of if it fell out of the top 10, it would go to the Bulls. Well, it hasn't fallen out of the top 10. The one that they gave up was in that stupid Nick Stauskas and Carl Landry.
Oh yeah. Trade. Yeah. I remember that now.
And they gave up an unprotected, I believe, 2019 first round draft pick. Yeah. Well, and they're preparing to trade Boogie or life without Boogie. They've drafted 3 centers in the last 2 years and signed two more bigs. So and they right now there's that rumor that they want to trade that they're open to trading Lily Cauley Stein. So
And also
Good job.
today, Omir Kasipi, however
Yep.
you say that name,
I don't know.
asked for a
Kaspi.
trade, or is asking for a trade.
Yeah, and he won't be the he won't be the first one or the last
Or
one.
he won't be the last. He is
Yeah,
the
he
first
won't.
one.
Yeah. Well, that at least went public.
Right.
The problem with trading Boogie is that they just opened up that brand new stadium.
Yeah.
They have to fill it.
Yeah, they have to fill it at least the first year, maybe two. They should, for the benefit of them, they should trade him. Will they? I doubt it, especially since Vivek seems to be an idiot and thinks he can keep anyone. He says that he thinks he can keep Gay, and Gay's said multiple times that there's no way he's staying.
Yeah. My team, the Brooklyn Nets, because like Christian said, there was the bit about the Kings, how they like passed up on multiple people, and that Damian Lillard was one of them. Damian Lillard was picked by a team the Nets pick. They could have
Oh my
had Damian
God.
Lillard. Also, they jeopardized their entire future to trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and whoever the hell else they traded for.
Jason Terry, I believe, as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Jason Terry.
So their entire future for essentially one season that nothing happened in. They best years of 7-time All-Star Joe Johnson's career.
I love calling him that. I love calling him that.
ISO Joe.
Yeah.
At their roster now, and I'm thinking that the player with the most hopes on that roster is Yogi Ferrell. Shout out to Jacob Reed.
No. Okay. They probably are the worst position out of any team because of they have to swap picks this year with the Celtics. Then the Celtics keep their pick, I think, next year, and then in 3 years they finally have their pick back. But
Yeah.
who is their new signing as GM? Was it Marks?
Marks. Yeah, it's Marks.
Yeah. I have to say that him and whoever drafted Chris McCullough, they've been going after high upside guys. If of the last 2 or 3 drafts, Chris McCullough, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, Karis LeVert, which that one is very risky, but his upside is very intriguing. A 6'7"
Take up that one.
point guard, lethal shooter. And then in the second round, they also took Isaiah Whitehead, who's a very intriguing point guard / shooting guard.
I also like the Sean Kilpatrick for them too.
Yeah, he's a decent 6 guy. The funny thing is I think they've already won 3 games this year,
which is insane.
Yeah, that might be just as big as the Lakers being 6-4. They were projected to be like a 21-win team.
They've won 4 games.
Oh my gosh, they are 4-5. Holy crap!
They won today.
They've got a better record than the Indiana Pacers, who I had said once they made that George Hill trade that was dumb. And look
George
how
Hill
good,
has been awesome for Utah.
how quickly people forget. The super team New York Knicks, and I don't feel bad for Hassan Whiteside staying in Miami, and then the Washington Wizards are 2-7, and that team may be just, if it wasn't for John Wall, I think that team is in one of the worst situations. They have all their picks, but they gave Bradley Beal that huge contract extension. He's on a minute limit. Yeah, he's already hurt. him and John Wall apparently hate each other on the court. Then they wouldn't even help Marcin Gortat off the ground apparently today or yesterday. The guy that runs around wiping up all the sweat had to help him up off the ground. They paid Jan Mahimi 4 years and $64 million, and he's been out the entire year so far, since I think even before the preseason.
Yeah, he tore his ACL before preseason.
It was a meniscus.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he'll be back in a month or so.
They do have Otto Porter, who is surprisingly gone under the radar and turned into a very good player.
Yeah.
They have some intriguing guys like I love Kelly Oubre and Thomas. Oh, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Sadorensky, I believe.
Yeah. That dude's awesome. I love that dude.
But he hasn't been playing very well unless he turned it around. After I saw that they started out like 1-4, I just stopped paying attention. Yeah. That team is interestingly bad. So, I don't know if I have just the worst team because both of those teams are bad that you guys picked. I guess I would probably go with the Kings, even though they have a better record and some of the better players. But they're gonna have to get rid of Boogie, just for their sake, just to get any amount of value for him. They haven't been able to develop guys. Their owner is a crazy person.
Vladdy's terrible.
Vladdy would trade you Willie Cauley-Stein for a pack of cigarettes right now. I mean, he was Willie Cauley-Stein was the 6th overall pick last year, and they're going to have to trade him for 30 cents on the dollar. That's nuts.
And what's crazier too for them is if the season ended today, they have to give their pick to the Bulls because they are currently in the 11th spot.
Especially in this draft too. Especially in this deep draft.
Yeah.
Which could potentially be as good of a draft as the D'Angelo Russell draft.
Or even depending on how you feel about the Andrew Wiggins draft too, with Embiid, the process.
Yeah. Oh man, I love him so much. Embiid's not my favorite player right now.
No, I don't disagree with that either. He's definitely rookie of the year.
Yeah, if he
played like 30+ minutes, I'd have him as an all-star. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His usage rate is it's like 45% last time I checked. It's insane. We do get the Bulls, yeah. If the Bulls don't get the Sacramento Kings pick this year and it fails to convey within its protected range and therefore not conveyed, then Sacramento will convey its 2017 second round pick to Chicago. Protected for the 55 to 60. So, if they don't have to give up a pick, they don't have to give up anything.
So, I don't.
Sorry.
I don't want to homer, anti-homer for the Bulls because that's what I am. But the Bulls are in a pretty bad situation too.
Who's in a worse situation, the Bulls or the Knicks?
The Knicks.
That's all the time we have. No, I could talk about that for a very long time, and I still don't know if I would decide on Bulls or Knicks, just because there are at least 2 former Bulls on the Knicks, and I hate all at this point. From my days of being a Bulls.
The thing with the Bulls is they have Rondo. I think they have a team option on him next year. I'm not 100% on that one. Wade, they signed him to essentially it was a 2-year deal because I believe it's a player option as well. They have all their picks, but they don't really have any. I mean, their salaries for all those guys are high, but they don't have a contract like Joakim Noah. That's 4 years and $72 million.
Yeah.
And
I feel so bad for Porzingis, man.
Yeah, I want to say it was Daman Rangula who said that the Knicks were gifted a unicorn in Kristaps Porzingis, and they are trying their hardest to turn him back into a horse. So
I almost cry watching them play. They never give them the ball. It's so sad.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that will end it for us tonight. Did you guys have any closing thoughts you wanted to say before we sign off? Clayton?
You can. Oh, I was going to say you could go first, Christian.
I don't. Well, actually, there's actually one more thing I wanted to talk about, and it's been kind of a hotter topic in Lakers. But I want to give a lot of props to Julius Randle because he's been our best player, and I loved him last year, but he's changed himself from last year, and it's I don't know. He's been awesome. He almost had a triple double tonight. He probably should have had triple double tonight if Dang makes those 2 wide open threes. But
Huertas missed one too. So
Huertas.
Get out of here.
We can blame someone. We can blame someone the catalyst.
But
Dang.
but just I've loved Julius this year, and I think all the slander during preseason, during summer league, is completely shut out now, and no one is saying anything bad about Julius anymore. And I just want to give him props for being so awesome.
No comment on the hate that Julius Randle got in the offseason, because that was something else.
Yeah.
Clayton, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I was wrong on Lou. Julius is awesome. I do eventually want to see Ingram and them and starting, but I mean, other than that, nitpicking. So very happy to be 6-4. I don't think anyone that wasn't delusional before the year was actually predicting that. So, yeah, I think that's it about for me.
I will close it out with one final thought. This came in handy a lot last year. This is a beer can. I think we all had many beer cans last year, at least those who are of legal drinking age.
A lot of juice boxes. A lot of juice boxes.
A lot of juice boxes, yeah. Byron forced us into drinking because our team was bad. Luke is forcing me into drinking because our team is good, and we, have celebration beers now. So I guess what I want to say to Laker fans is that up and up. We're going to be good for a little while. We might have our ups and downs this season, but it is looking very promising, and these guys have a very bright future. I think we are going to end the first Lakers Pulse podcast of this regular season. I am Kyle Harwick. I was joined by Clayton and Christian. Follow all of us on Twitter. Follow Lakers Pulse on Twitter, which I don't know why you would be listening if you didn't do that already. But who am I to judge you for that? And thanks for watching. Peace.